You are still watching the AM show on Joy News, and today on AM Exclusive, Benjamin Akakpo is bringing you a rare and engaging interview with, get ready for this, Rosa Liliana Gomez Cardenas de Winston. That's a mouthful. And that's the Peruvian ambassador to Ghana. You get to hear more about the land that has over 3,000 varieties of potatoes. Coming up now is AM Exclusive with Benjamin Akakpo.
Welcome aboard another installment of AM Exclusive, and today we find ourselves in the residence of the representative of the third largest country in South America. On different fronts, they are known for their cuisine, but I'm not going to be the one telling you about her. I have the representative, the ambassador of Peru to Ghana in the person of, yes, her name is quite a mouthful, but a very interesting name, Rosa Liliana Gomez Cardenas de, let me get that, the final bit, de Weston. Aha, that's it. I did tell you it was a bit of a mouthful, but she joins me today for a conversation right here from her residence. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Benjamin, for allowing me to be in your program.
And let's start from your name. There's an interesting story behind your name, Rosa Liliana Gomez Cardenas de Weston. So just break it down for, I'm sure my viewers will be excited about this, this long name.
That's my official name in my identity card. Okay. The two first are my Christian names.
Rosa Liliana, your Christian
Gomez
name.
is my father's, Cardenas is my mother's, and de Weston is, I am married to a gentleman called Mary Weston.
Okay. Is this the usual trend in Peru?
Yes and no, in the sense that for official documents it is, but on the daily basis we have modernized, and I will be called only Liliana Gomez.
Okay. And so henceforth I'm going to call you Liliana in the course of this interview. There will be a lot to talk about when it comes to Peru, but let's start a bit with you. Who is Liliana? Tell us a bit about yourself growing up.
I am a career diplomat and a lawyer. I did my studies in Lima, Peru. I was at an international school that allowed me to be with the students of different countries, to learn different languages. The subjects were taught in English and Spanish, but the foreign language were French and Italian. I've been served in the diplomatic service for many years. I was posted in Colombia, Ecuador, and El Salvador, in New Zealand, in Italy, Sweden, Germany, and for the third time here in Ghana, in Africa.
Okay, so that's an interesting bit. And I know New Zealand holds a special place in your heart. Is that where you met your husband?
Yes, my husband is a New Zealander. I met him there, and we have been together for many decades.
Congratulations to you on that. But growing up, did you always want to be this, to be a career diplomat? Is that what you wanted to be?
I will say that yes. The sense when I was studying law, after completing the 3 years that will enable me to apply for the diplomatic academy, I entered, and then I joined the Foreign Service. And answering your question, I shall say that it's related with my mother. She used to have an agency of public relations, and she used to work with many embassies that were their clients. So that captures my interest on the work that diplomats did, the reports that they do when they are abroad. And maybe through that, I decided also to follow the diplomatic career.
I see. So would you say there was any influence from family, example? Is there anything that you would say also guided you in that angle, apart from the agency?
No, I think so, because I have a lot of relationships with that. Yes.
Well, interesting. Let's talk about your time here so far. You've been here for what, a year so far?
I've been
Ghana?
here for more than a year, and I shall say that, how can I explain this? When the Embassy of Peru in Ghana started in 2014, I was the director of Africa in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Okay. So I can say that I promote the opening of the embassy, which was the first in the Western Africa. And years passed, and then I was appointed as ambassador. And it's interesting because after many years of diplomatic relations with Ghana, recently Peru has decided to elevate the level and to designate an ambassador here, because it was before at the level of only charge d'affaires. And apart from that, I am the first woman ambassador in Africa.
I see. So not just in West Africa, in Africa as well.
Yes, well, recently they have designated a woman ambassador in another country, in Kenya, but I was the first one.
You were the first. So interesting story of how you started this a long time ago, pushing for such relations in terms of an embassy in Africa, especially here in Ghana. And then years later, you become the ambassador. How fortune sometimes, works.
Well, it was good because I knew, well, when you are the director of a particular division, you follow the economy, the trade, what's going on in the country. You follow all the story. So it's just what was quite easy to restart here.
Within this period, over a year, what would you say your time serving in Ghana has been like? Tell us about some of the initiatives you've brought to bear.
Well, mainly our goal is to increase trade. And we have already made big steps. First, I will have to say that we signed a memorandum of understanding on political consultations. And after years of negotiation, we managed to sign that this year in April. And that opens a door in order to searching or looking for signing other agreements. We would like to establish a working group to sign later a trade and cooperation agreement. Okay. That's one of our goals. Working with that, or towards that, we have, for example, had a successful seminar on trade and investment. This was in August, so a few months ago. And it gave us the opportunity to put together through a video conference agencies from Peru and from Ghana and entrepreneurs from both countries to have a first approach on what do we offer and what does Ghana offers and what could we do together. So that was the first path on this road in order to fulfill our goal of increasing the relationship, not only on trade, but also on cooperation in general.
Mm. Now, these are general terms, but if you look at what the relationship between Ghana and Peru has been like over these last 10 years, Peru and Ghana is celebrating 10 years. What would you say it has been like? What has been the impact and the mutual benefits that have been gleaned?
Well, the thing is that we share common values, no, and that allows us, for example, to cooperate and coordinate in the multilateral arena to support each other when we want to pass a resolution, for example, in United Nations. No, democracy, human rights are common values. Our worry about the environment are common values. So we work together in that sense. So since we established the relationships, our main link was through the international, mainly UN agencies. But now we can work directly with the Ghanaian authorities. And that's a good thing. Of course, that it will be great if Ghana could open an embassy in Peru. Mm. We could offer them something that is very important, a way to reach the Pacific. And to mention this, I would like to highlight, for example, that in November we are going to inaugurate the mega port of Shanghai.
The mega port of Shanghai.
Shanghai, yeah, which is going to be the largest on the Pacific coast. And the inauguration is going to take place among the meeting of APEC, the Asia Pacific Economic Forum that is taking place right now in Peru, where the leaders of APEC from around the world are going to meet there. And I think that Ghana should look at us for that, because it opens a door to reach the Pacific, to reach Asia, for example. No?
So quite a route there that if Ghana, like you're saying, inviting the country to establish those relations, formalize relations by opening an ambassador, that would be a route to the Pacific. Where in Peru can Shanghai be found?
It's very near Lima.
Very near the capital?
It's very near the capital, yes.
I see. You were about to make a point?
Well, the thing is that we're already trading with some frozen fish, some evaporated milk, but something that has not been studied much is textiles. We have very high quality of textiles, cotton. Pima cotton is one of the very high quality cotton that we export around the world. And I think, and at a very affordable prices. So I invite the entrepreneurs that they could visit us to get further information in order to reach or to be in contact with the textile exporters from Peru.
I guess another thing that we could do is establish a chamber of commerce so that those interactions can be had. You see, like you're talking about textiles and the opportunities for Ghanaian businessmen maybe with such cooperation or such a chamber, then there can be interactions. And some countries have that in Ghana, so maybe another idea that could be put.
Yes, that's, we have that in mind, but I think that prior to that, it is necessary that they start to know each other. Because it's not just to have a Chamber of Commerce agreement, but we would like to have a Chamber of Commerce that interacts really among them and not just in a sign of paper, what sometimes happens. No? So yes, okay, our doors at the embassy are open to, if you, we will help you in order to contact exporters and to tell us what are you looking for, and we can show you what do we have, and let's work together. And that's, I was just thinking on trade, but there are other ways of cooperation. For example, we have been in conversations with the Minister of National Security.
Albert Kandapa, right.
Yes, in order to see how that we cooperate together. So Peru could help Ghana on its ability on responding to transnational crime. We have CIMA. CIMA is the enterprise of the Navy, Peruvian Navy, that they build up vessels and that could be used on rivers. They have something interesting that is called the Mobile Social Action. What it is, it's a barge where run by the Navy, yeah, where the government places different agencies in that barge and goes through the rivers to the most remote little towns, so the government reach them. They don't have to go to the city to take out, for example, to register a birth certificate or a death certificate, or to take up the national identity card, which are normally agencies that are on the cities. But through these barges, they go to the small towns that are called not even a town, it's a caserío, a small little, how can I translate caseríos? Just where very few people live,
Okay.
among the river. And it's very good because you take the presence of the government agencies to them. You don't expect them to go to you and to travel 3-4 days.
So development goes to them, other activities need go to them without their having to go to
Exactly.
centers of operation.
And also, when this is called PIAs in Spanish, they take doctors, they make health campaigns, dental, of whatever you can think, a small hospital on these barges, together with the entity that registers marriages or birth or death, which is the registration for civil acts, etc. No?
So what I see is, in terms of these, we could also take advantage, if there were cooperation along those lines, and bring them here. There are rural areas that are in need of health facilities. Some of them have CHIPS compounds, which are very small. And so these could be, especially for the riverine areas, areas of cooperation where we could have some interactions. But let me just ask you this. Peru, for some Ghanaians, they'll think, okay, South America, we may have heard the name way back when Ghana was playing under 17 and all of that. From time to time we would play. What is Peru known for the most globally?
Gastronomy.
Gastronomy. Okay, so food.
Food.
I see.
Our cuisine has reached top levels international. Those say its richness comes from two things: our geography, the coast, the highlands, the rainforests, the Amazon. It's the biodiversity of our territory is immense. So that allows us that you have all sorts of products that allow you to be innovative on our cuisine. And then our cuisine has the mixture of our immigrations. For example, Spanish, African, Chinese, Japanese, all mixed together. No, and it's very creative. There is a rank of the best restaurants in the world, and in that rank, 5 or 6 are Peruvians, being number 1 a Peruvian restaurant. And it has positioned it very well around the world. You find excellent Peruvian restaurants in Europe, in Asia, in the States, in the Americas. And I would love to, if an entrepreneur would like to open a restaurant here in Ghana, that I'm sure it's going to be a success.
A huge success, maybe. But I guess part of what makes Peru such a gastronomic heavyweight has to do with the Amazon as well. About half your country is taken up by the Amazon forest. Does that add anything to your cuisine?
I will say that most is the Pacific Ocean. Okay. We have a large coast, 2,000 kilometers. The fish, the things that the seafood that the Pacific Ocean brings to us are amazing. But the Amazon has also its own traditional meals that are also top level. Okay. So
tell me
wherever you go, you eat well. And you know, the thing is that since a few decades, I should say, it has been a boom on the gastronomy that has rocketed. And the good thing is now we have rediscovered what was produced and cooked in the little towns in the middle of the highlands of nowhere, where they say nowhere, everywhere. So, and now you can find many products in the big cities that, like maybe 20 years ago, were not found because they were only for a particular region.
I see.
Another example, we are the home of 4,000 types of potatoes.
4,000?
Types of potatoes.
What do you do with 4,000 types of potatoes? What do you do with that?
A lot of meals. The thing is that it grows at all the levels of sea level, from the very almost on the sea level to the 4,000 meters up the sea level. No?
And all of these are different types of potatoes?
Different types.
And used for different kinds of dishes in Peru?
Yes.
Well, That's interesting. I actually have had a bite of one of those. Which type of potato did I have?
You have well, it was with the white potato here because it's the one that we found here.
Okay.
Yeah, but normally is prepared with a more yellow potato.
I see. Maybe someday I'll end up in Peru, and maybe I'll pay you a visit, and
But
then you can
you,
give me
you
some
can see
dishes.
the dessert that you try is the maíz morado, is the corn, is purple.
Purple corn,
And it's not genetically modified, it's purple.
organic.
Yeah.
Interesting. I saw that for myself. It's maybe something we should give you a look at some point. But then let me ask, since we're talking about culinary elements, gastronomy, which dish I've heard about? Is it ceviche?
Ceviche.
Which dish is that? Is it?
Yeah.
Give us a picture of what ceviche is.
Yeah. Well, let's see.
You actually want to? Okay. Let's do this.
Let's see.
So we're looking for ceviche and what it looks like.
Ceviche is mainly made of white fish,
Whitefish.
cut into dices.
Is it
marinate,
raw? Is it raw?
raw, yes.
Raw. Okay.
Marinated with lime. Marinated with lime, a little bit of salt, chili, red pepper chili, but the fresh, not powder, fresh.
Okay.
A little bit of parsley. For example, this is one
Okay.
with the onion,
And I
red
see
onion,
this
the
chili
chili,
pepper.
lime, and it's marinated only with lime. But
Okay.
the small one, which is more, but now you can prepare ceviche.
So these are chefs at work doing this, but do
This
ordinary
is one
folk?
of the best writers of ceviche.
Javier Wong.
You see, yes.
Let me take a look at that. Okay, so there you go. Javier Wong, el mejor ceviche del mundo, the world's best ceviche. That's what they call it. How popular is this in Peru?
The ceviche,
Yes,
everywhere.
it's everywhere.
And
Is it like the
mainly-
national dish of Peru?
It's a national dish, mainly on the coast.
Okay.
You can eat also in other parts, but it's typical of the coast because it's fresh fish. But in the Amazon, they have also ceviche with the fish that comes from the rivers.
So it depends on where you are. People use what fish they can get for the ceviche.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move from the culinary elements and talk a bit about social cultural initiatives. Peru has been trying to give back to society, and you're trying to do that in Ghana as well. What have been some of your most impactful initiatives, socially, culturally, giving back to society?
I have to say, refer to the donations that we gave to society. We facilitated donations to the agric and Christian refugee camps.
Okay.
That was back in 2018, 2019. This was done together with the UNHCR, as long as another stakeholders such as Goldfields, Belacqua, and many others. On the other hand, we created an award called Ghana Peru to recognize the best Spanish students from the University of Ghana.
Oh, I see. Interesting.
That was for several years, up to just before COVID, just after COVID, until 2022. more or less. This was together with the University of Ghana, in particular the Spanish section.
Okay.
And to celebrate the month of the friendship, because the Africa-Peruvian friendship that is celebrated on the 19th of October, we are going to give a donation to the Flagstaff House Basic School in Accra. A second activity will be making a donation to the library of the Spanish section of the University of Ghana. Okay. These two activities are among these Frankfurt for el Día de la Amistad Peruano-Africana. No, that is called the friendship
So
among
the day
our
of
countries.
African-Peruvian friendship.
Yes, in reality, it's celebrated in Peru as the Día de la Amistad Afro-Peruana, but in general, we will have bring this to Ghana, no? And I think that
And which day specifically is this?
the Peruvian-African friendship is on the 19th of October.
19th of October.
So, and every year at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we invite the embassies, the African embassies accredited in Peru. They present their music, they bring us together to interact and to know and to learn a little bit of the culture of these different countries. Mm. And when I was the director of Africa back in 2014, I had the privilege of organizing this celebration with the participation of the African embassies accredited in Peru.
I now want to find out, on the back of this Peruvian-African or African-Peruvian Friendship Day on the 19th of October, if you want to situate it in the context of Ghana, especially looking at the fact that in Peru you have all sorts of influences, African, Asian, European, among others, and also native Indian in Peru. What would you say this friendship has cultivated in Ghana?
I think it's we are trying to let know to the Ghanaian society that we have this day of recognition to the friendship between Peru and Africa. And so we are working on that. But to put you an example, when we celebrate our national, we wanted to show a Peruvian dance.
A
it was
Peruvian
called
dance.
Festejo.
Festejo. Mm.
But when you listen to it, it's a Ghanaian music.
It sounds Ghanaian.
It sounds Ghanaian. Mm. So there was performed by the group of students from the University of Ghana, and that really the people was amazed of the similarities, because I remember that there were some musicians there at the national reception, and he said to me, "This is Ghanaian." And I say, "No, this is Peruvian."
And I think that also comes in because we use similar instruments.
Yes.
You know, Afro instruments, the South American influences.
But this, not only the instruments,
the sound,
but this the rhythm of these dancers that are the same as when you see a young Ghanaian performance, the Dance International,
Right.
the rhythm is the same. So I just say that that's one important point, because the people were surprised.
And so these commonalities all bring us together.
Yes, indeed, indeed.
Let's also look at, I mean, while we have such a good relationship, Ghana and Peru, I'm sure there are some challenges, there are some rough edges. What have been some of the challenges,
Well,
especially with you in office?
the thing is that the main challenge is that we need to work together to know each other. No, because it seems so far away. Yeah, and well, it's true. Geographically, we are so far away, and the things that because there is no direct ways to reach Ghana, it's very difficult, the trade, because it becomes very expensive. You have to go all up to Europe and then go down to here. So we're working on that. We're working that the companies and the entrepreneurs, the exporters and the importers from each country, they know each other, they trust each other. Because business is a matter of trust. I think that that's very important. No, and the challenge, I will say, is okay. Let's sit together. Let's trust each other, and let's see that it's not so difficult as we think it was.
And so, of course, inroads can be made. I remember going to Brazil. That was a very long flight. You know, you have to transit and all of that. So it's pretty tricky, like you said. In some instances, it's not even Africa. You have to go to Europe, and then you come down. So let's see what cooperation can bring in the future between Ghana and Peru.
Well, we are working, as I mentioned you, on cooperation in different fields. Another area that we could cooperate is, for example, a capacity building for farmers. It's very important here, cocoa. And I think that the first thing that we can, like I said, we can work on that to show our techniques in order to have better crops and to transform the cocoa beans in other products.
So processing.
Processing, and also we believe in the association of farmers, cooperative, because when they are together, they can get a better bargain on the prices. No, together they can buy better equipment, because are so expensive, better equipment to transform the beans in another product. So we can give a know-how on that as well, no? And my recommendation was invest in research, work with universities, find out ways to attack diseases that affect our crops. So those things that I think that they need to be addressed. And I put another example related to illicit crops. In Peru, we have illicit crops. Coca leaves.
Illicit crop. Okay, so coca leaves.
Coca leaves, illicit crops.
Of course, from which they get cocaine and all of that.
Yeah. But the government many years ago settled a model, a strategy, in the sense that they incentivize the farmers to grow coffee and cocoa, yeah, and to leave aside the coca leaves. And the government helps them of the association, making roads, and to transform that and to find markets. And that strategy that is called Desarrollo Alternativo, alternative development.
Right.
And I used to work on the entity in Peru that deals with drugs, which is the Vida, which is the similar of here of the Narcotics Control Commission.
Right.
No. And I have been with them, and I have showed them about this model, and we are in conversations to see how can we transfer our know-how and maybe implement that in Ghana. No, we have more than one talk with the NACOC.
I see. It's interesting because I mean, coca leaves or cocaina is quite an issue in South America. There have been so many issues, challenges, but here, I mean, we have our own struggles with different things, including, for example, galamsey, which is affecting our cocoa production. But just to stick on cocoa, right? Your country produces about 1.7%, almost 2% of the world's, cocoa beans or cocoa production. You are the third largest in South America behind Brazil and Ecuador. Ghana's production has plummeted. It has been going down in recent years. From the example of Peru picking up production, you talked about government initiatives. What else do you think led to Peru becoming so high? You are the 8th largest producer in the world. Ghana is second, but we are facing struggles. What else do you think?
I think it's investing on research, investing on best practices. I think it's in associate, and so the soil doesn't get damaged, because once your soil, if you overexplore it, forget it. The soil will not be good for anything else. But I would like to go back to what you mentioned a few minutes ago. Coca leaves has a lot of medical,
right?
Medical.
In that context, I was using
so
it merely
there's cocaine and cocaine are not the same.
Right, but the processing, because then people process it into cocaine. Some people, but not the medicinal. I'm not referring to the medicinal.
Yeah, no, because when you say cocaine, so I just wanted to differentiate.
Okay.
Because the cocaine is a chemical process.
Indeed.
Completely chemical process. The coca leaves, if you are in high altitude in Lima, when you go to Lima and you go to Machu Picchu, it's recommended to take a herbal tea made of coca, because it has a lot of good properties.
Anyway, Ghana, just as Peru, is famous for its chocolate. I remember being in Cuba once and how proud I was when I saw chocolate from Ghana, 70% chocolate from Ghana. That made my day that day. I love chocolate. Do you love chocolate too?
Of course, I love chocolate. I can be eating chocolate every single day. And one of my favorite is when there are these fountains of chocolate that you could put a little a piece of fruit underneath. And that's my one.
Okay, looks like someone has a sweet tooth. Interesting there. What's your favorite thing about Ghana as we get ready to wrap the conversation? Do you have any favorite meals, for example? Favorite dishes?
Well, I like jollof.
Everybody likes jollof.
And there is another one that we have in Peru the same, that is the beans and rice.
Wachi.
Wachi.
Okay.
That's I really like that one too. And I have an anecdote. A few months ago, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration honored me to be a jury on an international contest of the best jollof. There were 3 countries that were competing. It was a blind contest because we didn't know what dish they were presenting us from which country. And I was so proud that the Ghanaian jollof took the first place.
Carried the day. Which countries competed?
Gambia and Nigeria.
So Gambia, Nigeria, and Ghana.
Yes.
Well, Ghana jollof is pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. I also know you like kilewele. Is that correct?
Yes, I like kelewele as well.
Do you have anything similar to that in Peru?
To kelewele, I don't think so, no. But I have to recognize that the Ghanaian food is too spicy for me.
Spicy, huh?
It's spicy. Everything you put a lot of spicy. So yeah, but I'm getting accustomed to that. You were asking me also what do I like from Ghana. I say 2 things. Their hospitality.
Okay.
You see the people always smiling, very friendly, and the color of the garments in general. They're very colorful, they're cheerful. I like those things from Ghana.
I can see why you like the color, because South Americans also have a very colorful lifestyle. You know, your culture, your outfits. So I see you would be happy about that in Ghana.
Yes, I am indeed.
Okay. So before we wrap the conversation, maybe any final words?
First of all, I would like to thank Joy Prime and you,
Joy
Benjamin,
News.
And with all your team, to allow me to present a little bit of my country to your audience and invite the Ghanaian citizens and the entrepreneurs to visit us in the embassy so I could give you information not only about the tourism, the gastronomy, but how to make business. What would we offer? What could we do together? We're opening to receive you, and we're open to hear your views and how we could cooperate together.
Peru means business, huh? But just because you brought that up, where is your embassy in Ghana, in Accra? Where is it?
It's in Airport Residential.
Airport Residential area. Okay. Is there any landmark, or if
it's very easy to find.
I'm sure anybody could, use Google Maps and find the Embassy of Peru in Ghana. It's been a pleasure having you join the conversation, from everything to gastronomy to diplomatic relations, the economy, and we look forward to many more years with you. I don't know how long you'll be in Ghana, but for as long as you're here, we'll enjoy the time with you. And this has been my conversation, AM exclusive, with Rosa Liliana Gomez Cardenas de Weston. Liliana, for short. She is the Peruvian ambassador to Ghana. And she's been revealing some of the secrets of Peru, well, maybe not so secret, that she wants all of us to latch on to. I've enjoyed this conversation. I hope you have too. Thank you for watching.